Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to cover the major scale, how to know what chords go with it for every major scale. First, we're going to start with the major scale formula. Then I'm going to line that up with the major scale chord formula. All right, let's get into it. First, I just want to cover what a whole step is and what a half step is, because you kind of need to know that. So a whole step is moving two notes. If we start at C and we go up 1 to C sharp and 2 to D, that's a whole step. So from C to D is a whole step. From C to C sharp, moving up one note is a half step. So a half step is moving up one note, a whole step is moving up two notes. Here we have our major scale formula. So the root note is the first note of your scale. If we start at C and we go up a whole step, 1, 2, we go from C sharp to D. Whole step, D sharp, E, half step, up one note to F, whole step, F sharp, G, whole step, G sharp, A, whole step, A sharp, B, and a half step, back up to C. So that's C major. Now this is the major scale chord formula, right? So notice these are Roman numerals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So the capital Roman numerals are major chords. So as you can see, 1 would be the first note, 2 would be the second note, 3 would be the third note. The lowercase Roman numerals are minor chords, and the lowercase with a circle is diminished. So what this should tell you is that in the C major scale, we would use C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and B diminished. The cool thing with this is you don't need to worry about the major minor diminished part because this tells you. Typically a chord is every other note, right? Well, if you use every other note applied to this, that's how you'll get the major minor diminished. Here's what I mean. So C major is C, skip a note, E, skip a note, G. And so starting at D, skip a note, F, skip a note, A, and so on. So I'm going to fill this out. So now you have C major, D minor, E minor, F major, and all the notes in it. Now the reason this formula works is because notice all the notes in the C major scale are in these chords. So for example, if this was D major, it would be D, F sharp, A. But F sharp is nowhere in here, which is why this formula is the way it is. Now, that's not to say you can't use other chords in here, but this is a good starting point if you're just getting into music theory and putting chord progressions together. Now, another thing with this is a very popular chord progression, I believe, in pop music is 1, 6, 4, 5. So if you've ever seen chord progressions written as Roman numerals, this is what they mean. So from here, with all this, we can tell this is going to be C major, A minor, F major, and then G major. Now let me show you the cool thing about why people write chords like this. So we're going to take all this and apply it to a different note. So let's say we chose E, right? We can whole step, which is 1, 2. So E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, half step from G sharp up to A, whole step, A sharp, B, whole step, C, C sharp, whole step, D, D sharp, and half step back up to E. And then what I said before, just using every other note. So E major would be E, G sharp, B. Then the second chord would be F sharp minor, which is F sharp, skip a note, A, skip a note, C sharp. Again, notice how all the notes in here are the same ones up here. If we were to take this same chord formula and apply it to E major, this would be E major, C sharp minor, A major, and B major. If you don't feel like doing all the math to figure out the scales, I do have all 12 major scales on a one sheet with the chord formula. I also have one for the minor scale because that one has a different formula and a different chord formula. But I'll leave the link down to those below if that's something you're interested in. And I hope this video helped.